What up, fam? We bought a zoo. Remember that movie with Matt Damon? We bought a zoo. I'm going to make a movie out of it. One of Matt Damon's greatest hits. Oh my god, I feel like sometimes when I laugh, I feel like I feel like I'm literally going to explode. Like my insides are just going to go because I'm laughing so fucking hard. Um, yeah. Oh, womp, 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 womp. I am your mother. I am your mother, your mother, your mother. I am your mother. Okay. Doesn't Megan Trainor have a song called Mother or something like that? Um, I feel like I'm talking to myself today. Leave me alone. Like, okay. Okay, Megan, go off. You're having a bad day. We hear you. Um, I do already feel sick. It's 10 a.m. I just had my first sip of coffee, and I'm already feeling sick already. And that's because this morning was already out of control. This morning was already hilarious and out of control and crazy. And yeah. Yeah. All right. I am your mother. Okay, so this morning was out of control. Um, I'm harboring fugitives, and yeah, apparently I'm harboring fugitives, and there's no one in the house but me and my parents. Okay, for the government that's listening in. Um, Last night was interesting. Last night was a little terrifying. Last night was a little gross, and um, yeah, I didn't think I was going to be able to sleep last night, but I did. I don't know what time I went to bed. I didn't check the time when finally fell asleep. I want to say it was around 4. Oh, you know what? Wait, did I stay awake till 6 a.m.? See, I can't remember. No, I woke up at 6 a.m. Okay. I woke up at 6 a.m. I woke up when the sun was coming up, but I only slept a few hours last night. So I must have slept sometime around like between like let's say like 4 to 6, and then I slept again probably like 8 to 10. So or 8 to 9. Sorry, I woke up at 9. I didn't wake up at 10. So I had like 3 hours of sleep last night. So I didn't have very much sleep last night. I don't know how much sleep I had. I'm guessing, but uh, because every time I closed my eyes when I was going to sleep, I kept seeing violence, and I was like, okay. And so I couldn't fall asleep because of that, because I kept seeing it every time I closed my eyes. And then, um, Yeah. So, I think I said that yesterday. I have a lot of immunity, but Rion doesn't have as much immunity as me, and so um, he can't talk as freely as I can, and it's pissing me off. Because of it. So they're like thinking these words out loud. They're like thinking these things, but they can't really like say it because they don't have the immunity codes to like say it and um, feel safe saying it. I want to say, and it's pissing me off because we all know the truth, and it's obviously affecting everyone's energy. Like my broadcast midday yesterday, that's me not having enough embodiment to talk about what's going on freely. And so I just like sit there in overwhelmment, but Gabe wanted me to post about it as much as I could, so I did. And yeah, they keep crossing the lines. They keep crossing wires and making us sort of like be mean to each other and stuff like that. And that's what we're not liking. And that just happened just now after I said Gabe, and then they make him think of like something that would be mean to me, and then he has to correct it really quick. So it's like, why do you keep doing this to us? And so I mean, they keep fighting back, right? So it's like they brought up one of my brother's wife's wife, and they're like, oh yeah, because you want your her brother's wife, and he's like, I don't want my brother's wife, I want my Liz, and and that's like them like trying to like cross wires again and like make us confused and push us into situations we don't want to be in, and that's called intimidation, that's called harassment, that's called you know forcing someone to do something they don't want to do, point blank period. We don't need suggestions on our polyamory. Maybe you do, right? That's why you keep forcing it on us, like to make each other upset. And that's why it's just, I mean, we're definitely in 4D. I want to say that we're definitely in 4D. I've never seen bleed throughs of people in my brother's backyard like I did yesterday. I've never ever seen that before going over my brother's house like I did yesterday, and getting like literally crazy psychic hits and like literally seeing people in his backyard like, oh okay, wow, yeah, that's never happened before, so I definitely think we're definitely ascending, and it's pretty fucking obvious. So it's kind of hot in here now. Because if I'm not alone, why is it so goddamn scary on December 8th? It's fucking terrifying right now. Colin saying, forget about the car, forget about the car. And I'm like, oh my God, Colin. Um, I feel robbed of a life with Colin. I feel comfortable saying that. I feel robbed of a life with Colin Farrell, who's my real father, and they obviously were talking about me in Hollywood my whole life, and which I basically lacked awareness of because we had to rewrite the script to keep me safe. And that awareness caught on as of this year, and all the bleed throughs of those timelines um, caught up to me this year. And it's like, wow, I really got. Is there another quarter? No. I really got robbed of a life with my Colin. And um, how upsetting for me that is to know that I could have been with Colin this whole time. And here I am getting excited over a pack of cigarettes and freaking a donation for my brother. It's like, it's really upsetting. Um, well, I finished that coffee fast. I kind of want to go get another one. Um, it was on like that British talk show, and it was Colin and Minnie Driver. It was Colin and Nicole Kidman, and he said something was gnarly, and Nicole was like, "Oh my God, Colin, like you're not completely in love with your daughter still." And he was like, "Yeah, I am." And that sentence just like set me over the top, and I was just like, "Wow, I really like that." It was an episode from a while ago, and I was like, "Wow, I really got robbed of a life with my natural father, Colin." And good on Nicole Kidman for saying that. I'm not saying that or whatever, but it's like, okay, yeah, they noticed. And they've been noticing. And here we are in 2024, and I'm still separated from my dad. And it's like really upsetting. And yes, I have the Marilyn Monroe um, mole. You guys were talking about that. So last night was violence. Oh, and then when I woke up at 6 a.m., I woke up because the chat had switched from violence to racism. So one group hit them with violence, and because they hit them with violence, they fought back with racism. And we obviously love racism, right? I mean, racism's like, I mean, it's 2024, but like, let's not focus on getting a life. Like, let's focus on like the color of people's skin, right? It's just so ridiculous. Like, we're freaking aliens. I mean, how real is your skin color if you're all Andromedans and you all look similar, as Andromedans, as these space aliens called Andromedans, which are an evolution of the Earth grays. And so, how real is your skin color? Like, that's how ridiculous it is. And that's just one example um, of why racism is ridiculous to me. But I could go on and on about that, basically. I think I have, right? Um, yeah, it was a bunch of racism. And so, and then, I saw this crazy remote viewing of my brother. He like read one of my Yelp reviews, and it was like of this psychic that I went to a really long time ago in LA. It was like awful. And he was like, "Well, let me go to her and like see what she has to say." And this was like something that like woke me up, like the remote viewing. And he went to her to see what she had to say. Even though I gave her like the worst Yelp review ever. But I think it's pretty funny. She's on like Hollywood Boulevard or Sunset Boulevard. And I want to say, isn't Hollywood and Vine where Hollywood High is? It's around Hollywood High. It's not exactly next to Hollywood High, but it's a psychic around Hollywood High, and it's either on Hollywood or Sunset. It's in that area. And I saw him going to see her, and like immediately he walked in, and it looked like she was like literally on crack. And he was like, I should have probably just went to my sister and asked her directly for help. And I thought that was hilarious. And yeah, and then she was talking about me doing a spell and calling Papa Legba. And she was saying, you can trust your sister. She's freaking nuts. And trust your sister's spells because your sister's freaking nuts and her spells work. And and she reminded him of the day that I called Papa Legba, who's a voodoo priest, if you're not aware. So I thought that was hilarious and interesting. And then I was telling Mike about the time this summer when I was doing a lot of space codes. I was getting a lot of space codes intel. And I don't think I mentioned this part, but I was watching outside the window and I was watching people create themselves from the environment, from the streets, and from the plants around them, and from the street sign. And they would gather organic energy, and then there would outcome like a crowd of people, like 4, 5, 6 people or something. And then they all like would stand and like wave to me, like as I was sitting and looking out the window. And they would all wave to me and be like, "Hi, Elissa. Like people aren't real. Don't worry. Like we can create ourselves anywhere you go. Like we can just create ourselves from like the organic energy in the streets, in the street lamp, and everything like that." And then that made the wires that are in front of my house, that made them glow purple. So I want to say my crown is embedded in the electricity wires here and in the grid here is what I'm getting. Is what I'm picking up from that message. But that was something to like self-soothe my Michael group in general, that I watched people literally create themselves from the street and in a very organic way, and like literally like come alive and be like, "Hey, Elissa," and that was pretty cool. And I forgot to talk about that. So the dream that I had last night was very interesting. I was at an office as a designer, and there was two designers. So it was me, and we'll say her name is Heather. So it was me and Heather, and we're both designers at this office. And she must have gone behind my back and talked to her boss, and she pulled all of the designing back from me. So she pulled all of my job back from me into her, and she absorbed my job, and she was like, no, I'm going to take over design because I want credit for all of these designs, and I don't want Alyssa to get any credit for these designs. And I was just like, huh, that's kind of mean. And but like they were like, no, 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 we'll still take care of you. Like there's lots of positions open, and like we're flexible to like retrain you for like another position. There's like other positions that are like sort of the same but different in design and stuff like that, and we'll put you through a round of interviews. We'll put you through a round of interviews and like see where you're best fit or whatever. And I was listening to her going to be was interview for another position, what was going to be mean to designer. Oh, okay. And then I was listening to her and I was like, what a bitch. And I was like, well, I'm just going to take the position back with my princess power. And like that's what I called it in this body that I was in, which this woman obviously thinks she's Alyssa Janello and she has this princess power, right? So it is a little confusing because of the dichotomy of faith. Um, because these people actually think that they're Alyssa in the office because my energy's in the office and because some people are in line with me, so they're Alyssa, and then some people kind of went crazy this year and started calling themselves Alyssa Janello, as I've mentioned a few times on this channel. So I want to say that she was probably one of the people that went crazy this year and started calling herself Alyssa Janello out of nowhere, because she's aware that she has this thing called princess power, which I never heard of. So that's a code that she's using against me, that I'm gonna like suck back. And the office was obvious. That office was obviously aware of it. So using my princess power, I was going to, in these interviews, smuggle the job back and promote myself to art director. I was going to say something like, I was like thinking about it in my head, like, what's my frame of technique going to be here? And was thinking first, like, to talk about how I'm a better designer than her and go in that direction and like say like, oh, I can up your business with A, B, C, and D, something like that. And then I was like, no, I think I'm just going to go straight for like, I really think I'm really into like concept design and just go straight for like the self promotion to like art director, because concept designing is sort of like the art director position. And that was sort of like my frame of thinking during this art director new designer phone call, because all the positions they were giving me were kind of demotion. And I was like, oh, no, 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 not with my princess power. You're not going to demote me. Okay. Um, and so I was on the phone with the new whatever HR person or whatever design hiring manager or whatever, that I was put on the phone with. But it was this man, and the guy that I was talking to is actually, he works at MSNBC. I don't know his name, but he has those cool eyes where like one eye is like drippy. I don't know his name though. That's who I was talking to on the phone. I don't think he works in a design office, right? So he's interdimensional as well. And that's sort of how interdimensionals work. Womp, 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 womp. I am your mother. Mother. Okay. I just keep hearing it with like a cool like techno-y like EDM type beat, you know? Okay, so the guy got on and said, we're going to set you up with the best new position. And he said, I'm your mother to me, which is which is like a secret language that my angels use with me. And it's kind of like off limits for like people in the office. And it's like really weird for like somebody in the office to be like, I'm your mother. And I was like, huh, that's weird. That's inappropriate and weird. Yeah, like Tim's allowed to say that to me, but like not like other random people outside of the castle. It wasn't Tim on the phone. I already told you who it was. So, and then he said like a bunch of other things from my podcast, but I think they were just the titles from the podcast. And I don't remember the exact which words he used, but they were things from this podcast to like he was basically showing off, and he was trying to humiliate me and like take back my words and like sort of like use power over me. Um, he was trying to like use power over me, like I'm the authority in this office, not you, little missy, something like that. Basically, is what he was kind of. I'm trying to get the words out, but like it's not really coming to me exactly like in the exact manner that I want it to come, but it's coming in the way that it's coming. Okay, so and I was like, huh, then girl in office. Oh, and so then he's saying like my words to me, and then he like put me on a brief hold. And then this girl in the office, I guess I made fun of her low-waisted jeans, and in the interdimensional time, I remembered the exact time she was talking about. But me, Alyssa Jello, I have no idea what she's talking about. I'm making fun of her low-waisted jeans, but I guess she did that to her in the office, and she was like yelling at her for like making fun of her low-waisted jeans and like sticking up for herself or whatever. And I just had so much embodiment and so much power that I literally just yelled back at her when I'm interviewing for a new position at the company. Like I literally felt like I had that much authority to be that rude in the office without getting like any reprimanding or anything like that. So I just yelled at her right back as I was on hold with the hiring manager or HR person, whatever they were. And I was like surprised that I had that much gusto in the office. Like it surprised me, Elissa, that this person in the office had like that much. Again, the word is just freaking eluding me right now. I had that much audacity, I want to say, to just yell at like another colleague when I'm literally kind of positionless in this office. And what I wrote down was I rickrolled her back because I knew I was in charge. And those were the words that I felt in that office. I knew I was in charge. I knew I had princess power. And then the interviewer, and then instead of a hold, it seemed like the call dropped. It seemed like he actually hung up on me, but it seemed like a hold. And then it seemed like the call literally dropped, and it seemed like he did that all on purpose. Like, oh, yeah, we're going to interview you and put you in another position. And then he just hung up the phone. And then that girl told me off, and I told her off back. And then the call dropped like that. And, um, and I felt like he was just trying to humiliate me one more time, to try to get rid of me. And like that was like how he was trying to get rid of me. I don't know. I woke up after that, so I don't know if she continued to pursue it and like call him back, or like took that as a hint that like they don't want her in the office, and like was like, yeah, okay, I don't really like the positions here. I'm gonna leave. I'm not sure like which route she took. And I woke up and I heard my dad say, are you working today? And I said, yes, Daddy. And he said, you have nothing to feel guilty about. Um, Meaning like what I just said, people are like taking over my roles in corporate, and they're using my name and they're using my codes against me. And it's obviously pulling me into those bodies, because if you call yourself Alyssa Janello, that gives you permission for me to take over your body. And um and there's obviously people in line with me that I can easily take over as well. And that means I am still working, and I've been working all year, and I haven't made a cent because I'm literally not in the office, right? I'm not in the office. I haven't been in the office all year. So Alyssa's not working with you. Okay? As much as you want to say Alyssa is like working with you in the office, thank you for that beautiful picture, Colin Farrell. I really appreciate that. Um, as much as you want to say that Alyssa's in the office, right? Because you know I'm God and you know it's all my energy by now, right? So you're like, yeah, Alyssa's in the office. Alyssa's been in the office all year. Like, where am I? Where am I, fam? Is Alyssa in the office? Is Alyssa in the office today? I mean, it's Sunday, but some people are working today. But um, has Alyssa been working all year? Has Alyssa collected a paycheck all year? Has Alyssa stepped foot into an office all year? Okay, you're not working with Alyssa. You're working with Alyssa energy. You're working with my goddamn energy. It's completely different. You ain't working with the one goddamn molecule. All right, I haven't collected a paycheck all fucking year. So if you're saying you work with Alyssa, you don't work with Alyssa. You do not work with Alyssa. It's the same thing. Oh, I don't have to contact the real molecule because I see her everywhere I go. I see Alyssa everywhere I go. I meet Alyssa everywhere I go. Okay, you know what I mean? People are always saying that. People always say that. I meet her wherever I go because there's always a list in the group, right? There's always got to be somebody that's like list in the group, right? And the word now it's a crazy list in the group. There's always a crazy list in the group, right? It ain't Liz. It's not Elissa. I already thought I got across this message. Apparently, I didn't. We got people in the office saying they got princess power. I got princess power, and I'm going to use it today to give myself a better position. I'm going to use my princess power and say I like concept design, and I'm going to give myself a promotion because I know my daddy loves me. What? Your daddy is not Colin Farrell and Brandon Lee. It ain't. It ain't. It's not. Okay? So I don't know what daddy you're talking about, but it sure as hell ain't Colin and Brandon. Okay? Oh. My nose felt empty and then it felt like it was full all of a sudden. Okay? Yeah. It's I'm here to protect my loved ones. I'll just say that because they're, it's already tension. There's already tension. Okay, I love my siblings. I love my loved ones, and I want. And it is my intention to protect them. Okay, because I could just feel the tension rise just now because of that. Um, so you might got some real people in the office. You might have some real people. Okay, you might have some real people, but you don't got Alyssa Janello in the office. You got Alyssa Janello energy in the office. All right. There's a distinction for you. That's some paranoia for you right there. That's some paranoia. Okay. What do we talk about paranoia, class? Is it good? Is it good for y'all? No, it's not. So yeah, I thought that was really interesting. I feel like I could talk about that all day. You ain't hanging out with Alyssa. I don't know how many times I gotta talk about it. I've been in my goddamn house all year. You ain't hanging out with me. You're not hanging out with me. Okay, I think my friends know that. You're not hanging out with me. You know what I mean? The smart ones, they know that, right? TJR, he wanted to take me to Art Basel. He knows he's not taking me to Art Basel. He knows I'm not with him at Art Basel. It ain't confusing. It's not confusing. He knows he's not hanging out with Elissa at Art Basel right now. It is that not confusing. It should be that not confusing in the office and in your friend groups as well. You're not hanging out with Elissa. You are not hanging out with Elissa. There you go. You just made my tongue blue. You just made my tongue blue. It looks like I'm about to get the cheese touch. That's what it looks like. Did it affect my energy, Krista? Just made my ear itch something awful. Oh my God. I'm letting you know it's affecting my energy. I think it's important for y'all to see that shit. Okay, there you go. My eyes just lit up bright blue. Okay, my eyes just lit up bright blue, and so did my mouth. Okay, that's cheese touch coming for you. And I might get the cheese touch too because it's going around in my family. My daddy, Colin, got cheese touch this morning, so I'm probably going to get it too. All right. It is what it is. Yeah, I feel like I could talk about this for an hour about how we got princess power in the freaking office and she thinks she's real to get promotions. She thinks she's Elissa to get promotions. She's using her princess power. That I'm pretty sure there's one princess in the entire world. You're using your princess power to get a promotion? What princess power are you talking about? There's only one princess in the whole goddamn universe, and that's me, Elissa. And you're looking at her right now, okay? I might come through the background, but you ain't watching it in the foreground unless you're my friend on here. That's, you know what I mean? That's the only person that's watching it in the foreground, okay? But y'all are watching it in the background, okay? And that means Elissa ain't in the goddamn office. She's coming through the airwaves because I'm interdimensional. But I'm existing right now in Burlington, New Jersey, right? And I'm about to get the cheese touch because y'all keep playing with me. All right. Yeah, I said it out loud with my mouth, didn't I? Y'all getting excited about the wrong syllable again, okay? You got Mike Myers dyeing his hair blonde to support me and Sick Boy. All right, did we all hear that story? Okay, that's a really sad story. Okay, he's a nice person. He's a nice father figure. He wants to help support his children. You know what I mean? He ain't deaf. He's not deaf. He dyed his hair blonde. Go check it out. That's a nice person right there, Mr. Mike Myers. Okay, he's Rione's higher self. He's a very nice person, just like Rione. So, um, he's hilarious. He's amazing. I love him. I love that guy. All right, so all right, so yeah, that's upsetting the crew again. What do you know? It was an upsetting story. That upset me for a while. I was like, wow, I can't live with this grief. This is really sad. I can't. That night that it hit me, I was like, I can't keep going if this grief is going to just keep getting worse. This is really bad. This is bad grief. This is really, really bad. Gabe and I went from the perfect household to um, falling into the therapy house and losing everything. I mean, that's just terrible. It's terrible. It's really, really, really sad. So yeah, that's a hard pill to swallow. Okay, it affects the whole family when that kind of stuff happens. Um, so I think that's it. But yeah, I just really want you to get it through your head because it's going to help everybody on Earth that you are not hanging out with Liz. You're not hanging out with Liz unless you're hanging out with Liz. It's that easy to understand. Are you hanging out with Liz? You know if you're hanging out with Liz or not. You know it because I'm in front of you. You know what I mean? I'm at your house. That's how you know. Am I going to Art Basel with TJR? I wish I was. Okay, I wish I was hanging out with TJR. I'm currently not crazy, and I know that I'm not hanging out with TJR. That's how not crazy I am. Right? It's not that hard to understand. Corporate America, Friend Group America, Friend Group International. Oh, I meet Liz wherever I go. I don't need to talk to her. I don't need to talk to her directly. I see her wherever I go. I meet her wherever I go. No, you do not. No, you do not. Okay? You meet molecules carrying the gene code, and it's up to them whether they're going to keep that gene code or not. She's like, fine, I'll say it. I'll say the telepathic stuff. Like, look, it's an empty glass. You got it? That's an empty glass. Okay, that's how important those list molecules are, and they know that. That there ain't one person that doesn't know that in this world, right? By now, in 2024, there ain't one person in this whole goddamn fucking game that doesn't know that by now. That's why I said that guy's making a fool of himself yesterday. You're making a fool of yourself. Everybody knows who the fuck I am by now. You're making a goddamn fool of yourself trying to carve me for some goddamn cigarettes. Everybody knows who the fuck I am by now. You got the real thing in front of you. You want to card the Queen of England? I don't think so. Okay. All right. We probably got the mirror realm on the way. God damn it. Why are you making me say that, Becky? We hate the mirror realm. You guys, I can't channel my family or I'm just going to be laughing for days and days. I can't. If I channel my family, I'm laughing I'm laughing forever. Just there's no I got no chance if I'm channeling my family, okay? I got no chance of talking. Um yeah, so we had a really negative download last night. It was a bleed through. Some of the general public that's in on it is helping us eat, the people out of line. And they were like, nah, she wouldn't be able to sleep if she heard all this stuff. Let's give her a little sample of what we're eating. No, I can't sleep if I hear that kind of stuff. That's true. And there was bleed through from it last night, and I didn't sleep well. Okay, and I was like, oh my God, I can't believe this is coming. Please, God, please, God, God to God, please don't let this be coming. God, oh man, like, who am I talking to when I say please, God? You know what I mean? Y'all just can't be doing that to me. You can't be terrifying me during the nighttime. Give me the nighttime sweats. I told you I've been like sweating like a pig for the last week or two. So it's obviously in the airwaves. Y'all doing a great job of eating it, and I don't know if that was starting to bleed through or if they're just giving me a sample of it last night, but I got the blue and the blue, so it's probably coming. It's probably coming. And is Elissa her new mom? Let's think about it. Y'all get on my goddamn nerves when you start thinking way too hard. It's so annoying. It's goddamn annoying. Yeah, but y'all, I just want to talk about it one more time. Elissa ain't in the office. Okay? Y'all are listening in and going crazy using my words is what I noticed last night. Y'all are going crazy butting heads against each other. Which list is going to win in the office? Right? Okay? Yes, that's probably why, Rob. There's more people than you that are getting the max upgrade, and some of them ain't going to be able to handle it. Okay? So, I mean, there's just certain, like, you just feel it out. You just feel it out. That's how you know. It's really, again, not that hard to understand. Okay? I'm giving you live demonstrations right now. Feel it out. If you can talk about it or not. You feel it out. You don't just blurt it out. Right? So, unless you want to cause chaos and illusion to happen, in delusions of grandeur, then go ahead and blurt it out. Then go ahead and you're going to get some delusions of grandeur. So, yeah, you ain't working with Liz. I wasn't in the office all year long. I didn't collect a goddamn paycheck. I don't see any paychecks on my fucking thing. I didn't go to one office this year, so you know what I mean. I don't know what you're talking about. Really, I have no idea what you're talking about. Talking about freaking you're working with Liz in the office. You're working with Miss Princess Power is what I'm trying to say. That's what she called it, Princess Power. That's Miss Princess Power, okay? That's what I'm going to rip back. All right? And that girl that ripped all the design back, if I was in the office and that happened to me, I would have been pissed off. I would have been extremely pissed off. That's how I ended my year this year. Because if I'm in the office, I'm still in the office, right? Liz is still in the office. She's not working. It's not that hard to understand. I ain't collecting a goddamn paycheck. I'm not in the fucking office. You're working with my goddamn clones. Okay, it's a clone. She's saying she's got princess power. No, it doesn't work like that. Okay, so that's the princess power is probably what I'm ripping back from her. Okay, but it ain't that hard to understand. It doesn't really need explaining for an hour, but for some reason, it's making me happy to explain it for an hour because I've had to deal with this all goddamn year. You can't get it through your goddamn head. There ain't nobody with princess power but me. Elissa Janello, the real Elissa Janello. Okay, there's no fake Elissa Janellos that have more power than me. Or this guy said, don't argue with her about her identity yesterday because this girl was calling herself Elissa Janello. Don't argue. What are you talking about? Don't argue with her about her identity. That's identity theft. She's calling herself Elissa Janello. That is identity theft from me. She's stealing my identity by calling herself Elissa Janello in the telepathic airwaves. That is literally identity theft. I think that's like a federal crime. That's like a really huge crime. And you're saying don't argue with her about it? That's a crime. Okay, that's a crime in humanity. Also perjury of the queen, but that's crime. That is literally crime. Trying to steal somebody's identity, trying to steal Elissa Janello's identity. That's a crime, okay? All right? I'm allowed to say my own name, okay? Because y'all gonna get it straight this time. I talk about my friends. I'm allowed to talk about my goddamn friends. They don't have a problem with me. They know it brings them protection, okay? Y'all are already trying to turn it around on me. You're already trying to turn around on me. Well, doesn't the queen do that? Well, isn't the queen literally every single person in the world? Again, that does not need over explaining, but here I am over explaining it. All right.